well-known melody from the first movement of Tchaikovsky's piano concerto, quite a handful on bells. I don't think Tchaikovsky would ever have imagined that someone would be playing that on a set of handbells. This is a remarkable day for the team. A remarkable day for many members of the team too. 40 years is a heck of a long time, isn't it? And this team has grown until its present state and reached its 40th anniversary. And I know that for George Francis it was a very important day. This concert should take place today, and the team should be really at a good standard, which I hope you'll agree will be later in the afternoon. We're going to follow that piece with a Victorian tune that became very, very popular in those days, a big choral piece called And We Sing. I know there are lots of people here who actually have, who do ring bells and members of teams and very experienced handbell ringers and people who've done it or had to go out into the past and so on. One of the common things that people say is, why do they look so glum? I can tell you, it's a mixture of terror and concentration. The concentration involved is quite intense. And if I said, you know, if I'm putting an arrangement in front of the team, I'm asking, there may be 5 bells, and I might be asking between the second and the fourth out of those 5 bells. And those bells might be going ding ding dong. Was that 5? Yes. Or it might be 1, 3, and 4, or any sort of combination. Get it wrong, and the chances are that the thing can suddenly dry out. And people who do this will know that that can happen. And suddenly you find, hey, what's gone wrong here? Someone missed a bell, and the whole thing stops. The concentration is huge. It's really not like playing any other instrument. Although we're playing musical instruments, you're not responsible for the whole melodic line. You're just putting parts of it in. And you have this enormous responsibility to your neighbours and your rest of the team to get there, to get it in. This is a piece that the South East region rang a big concert, as they do every year in the Guildford Cathedral, and this piece was chosen to be run at that occasion. It impressed us so much we thought we'd like to play it for this afternoon. It's a Spanish song with an American arrangement called When We Are Living. Very common. because they're worth a lot of money. 5.5 octaves, about 130 bells in all. If you work that out, you'll know that there's many more bells in, fewer bells in 5 octaves than 130. Now, some people are ringing with 2 bells in front of them of the same pitch, and so in some cases 3. When you get to this end of the table, that's not at all the size of the bell. We are pleased to say that the huge majority of bells here on the table are Whitechapel bells and English bells, and we're very proud of that fact. I'm going to read a piece now which is one of those pieces very useful because it comes out at different times of the year. I wrote this again, it's a Christmas carol really, it's a French traditional carol. It's called Noel New Belay, but it also has some alternative words to it. Now the green blade rises, and you can bring this out easily as well, because I thought it'd be useful. Here we go. It's called Now the Green Blade Rises. Every 2 years there is an international rally that takes place in the Handbell world. These days, visit areas of the world, and teams from all over the world visit this international rally. And in '94, George arranged a piece, adapted a piece of Handbell's, a piece I'm sure you'll know. It was called In a Persian Market, written by Catelby. And it was chosen to be rung as an example of the music from this country, and it was rung at the International in 1994 in Australia. And it was a considerable credit to George that this should have been chosen. Just to explain the piece, I'll read you the story, the little synopsis of the storyline. We're in Egypt, I guess, and the camel drivers gradually approach a market, and we hear the cries of beggars for begging for money and cash. A beautiful princess enters, carried by her servants. She stays to watch the jugglers and the snake charmer. And a caliph passes through the one pays obeyance to the caliph. It interrupts all the entertainment. The beggars are heard again, but the princess prepares to depart, and her caravan resumes its journey. The themes of the princess and the camel drivers are heard faintly in the distance, and yet again the marketplace becomes quiet and deserted. In a Persian market, piece is a little bit of a novelty piece, really. There are composers that become very famous, but they don't become famous for very many pieces of music. You have enormous composers who are famous, like Haydn, for writing hundreds of thousands of pieces of music in Mozart. And then you get one composer who writes something that everyone remembers. This is really the case with Denis. He wrote a suite of a ballet called Sylvia, and the music becomes quite famous. But particularly this one movement. And this is the pizzicato, pizzicati as it's called in this arrangement, from his ballet, Sylvia. Missing out a bell, leaving your comrades around you in trouble. That is just disaster, that one, if you miss a bell. So they can swallow now. Right, back to the States. There's a tremendous interest in handbell ringing in America. Great enthusiasm for it through the churches, universities and so on. And they're producing some beautiful arrangements of bells, and we've run 2 or 3 this evening, this afternoon already, are American-based. This piece, not only an American arrangement, is actually an American tune. It is a Christmas tune, but it's so attractive that we thought you'd enjoy to hear it again. It is called Were You There, and it's related to Were You There on Christmas Night, but really, again, really stretching. and the raffle over here. We'll draw the raffle towards the end of the afternoon, perhaps just before the end. Lots of interesting prizes. And we won't be around, but we'd love to talk to you and see you perhaps at the end of the afternoon. We'd like to socialise with you. We're going to close with, first time out for this piece, big piece. The Light Cavalry Overture. Again, I talked about Delis being someone who wrote one thing that people remember. I reckon the same can be said about Paul Soupe. Not very many people have put too many things to his name, but a lot of people will say, oh yeah, he's the bloke who wrote the Light Cavalry Overture. It's a big piece, it's a big fanfare at the beginning. Lots of different techniques in this, and again, an American arrangement. This is the Light Cavalry Overture. ago we were in some serious difficulty. Handbell ringing, handbell being a member of a tune like this is a very, very heavy commitment. And it's not like 1 tenor out of 10 not turning up for a choir rehearsal. If someone is ill or has another commitment and can't turn up to a concert or a rehearsal, it's extremely difficult to actually effectively continue to rehearse. People rehearse in their position for months and months and become adepts of particular pieces that we work into the repertoire. And we wouldn't be ringing this concert this afternoon if it wasn't for 3 of our members actually returning to help us through this here this afternoon, although they have, in theory, left us before this. That's Dave, Don on the bass table there, and Chris here. Oh, thanks. We should be there. Coming back. Without him and those 3 people's help, we certainly wouldn't be able to bring many of the things that we're doing this afternoon for you. That leads me to say that this next piece is a bit of a showpiece for them down there. If you think those bells look easy, go and try and lift one. Find out where they are. This piece, The Dark Town Shutter's Ball, has a very interesting bass line. Has some pretty interesting things going up here, but the bass line carries an interesting part. Talented people amongst this team here, and one of our more talented members is Anne, who can ring a bell like no one else, I tell you. And Anne's going to ring a solo part now. She's using chimes for this. You may have heard the chimes as an alternative sound counsels to the bell. And she's going to ring this piece on chimes. It's a beautiful little arrangement of Blue. back in the place that you picked it up from. Because you haven't got time to go around saying, "See Sherlock, where's C Sherlock?" And if it isn't back where you think it should be, then you're in trouble. And believe me, when Anne's doing that, you've got to be sure she puts them back in the right place. Now, composers these days, many composers will be turning, I think, more and more to the media when they compose. I don't know that anyone is going to have the luxury of being commissioned to write a symphony so much these days. You know, I can't quite see the future in that sense. But an awful lot of fine composers are working for the film industry and so on. People like John Williams producing scores for our major films, which are extremely advanced. And even into the pop world now, people moving away from just writing simple pop songs, people to write scores for films. And Elton John was invited by Disney to write the score for film music for The Lion King. From that came this one song, this particular song, which became very popular, called Can You Feel the Love Tonight? However, the people who ring bells will know, will confirm that she's a very skilled arranger. And she seems to take a tune like White Christmas and make it sound completely new. And she does have this gift of getting the best out of the bell with a set of bells. And I think you'll agree when you hear this. It's a corny old tune, and we all know it, but this is a sparkling little arrangement. It really works well. Good. Well, I'd like to thank 4 people here tonight. So I keep saying tonight. Barbara and Beryl are ex-ringers and have kindly come along to help us this afternoon and help us with the raffle. Thank you for that. Good to see you. Thank you. A big thank you to Kath, the ex-ringer, and Morris, who helped with the teas and helping to refresh you during the interval. Thank you both for that. Thank you to Thomas, who's not able to be with us but is returning very shortly after looking really well and being ill, but doing really well. Thanks, Thomas, for help this afternoon and for Ryan and your wife for help in the kitchen. If there's any fellas out there that fancy their arm on these bigger bells, you may understand from what I've just been saying that we could do with a ringer. So if anyone out there is interested in learning to ring bass bells, have a chat with George or I afterwards, because there is a vacancy. I should be up for the quality robot, but we really need someone who can lift those bells and handle the weight of the bells. And, there are some ladies who do it, but generally I'm the one in trouble. Phantom of the Opera, here we have a medley of Andrew Lloyd Webber's songs from Phantom. it just enabled us to really concentrate on what we were doing as well. And we've been a very, very enjoyable audience to ring for, knowledgeable, and seem to be interested in what we're doing. 40 years of handbell ringing, if you read the beginning of your programme there, it's a considerable event. And it's down to the vision, enthusiasm, and the sort of loyalty, I suppose, to bells of George Francis. And without him, none of this team would have continued 40 years. We hope it continues for many more years. It is becoming more difficult to encourage people to make commitments to things. I think you might agree with that from whatever you might be interested in. It is becoming more and more difficult. People live busy lives and work further from home and so on. But we have had our struggles at some periods in the past, and we've always come through them, and the team has always grown. The team has always developed musically and skillfully as well. I think you might agree with that. So. It's down to George. It's his enthusiasm. It's his pugnacious refusal to let go. Shall we not practice next week, George? Because there's 5 people away. Oh, I think we're practicing. Not everybody else. Here we go again. But that's it, and that's George, and that's why the team's where it is, and why it's never failed to continue to thrive through 40 years. Right.
I would just like to say that you'll see in your programme when John joined us, and since he's joined us, he has transformed us into the team we are today, and much of our success and the enjoyment of our ringing is due to John's directorship.
Yes.
Wagner's arrangement of a series of great songs by Gershwin.
More.